All right, everybody. Hello, how you doing? We're just rounding out pretty awesome 2014, heading up to Christmas, and we're having some construction done at the house. So I am currently sitting in my kitchen and don't have my fancy dancy microphone or cool guitars and everything else hanging behind me. That being said, you may wind up with a little background noise from babies and or hammers and or dogs. Apologize for that in advance, but on that note, I'll just go ahead and do a quick screen share here and get over to this. And then once we've got the sound check taken care of, I'll jump into the questions. Looks like we've got Alvin and Steve Stoneman's on, and Rob's got a few questions here. So, and don't have my fancy microphone or all right, sounds like things are good. So let me jump back here a few minutes and see what questions we had coming in from Rob, and then we'll go from there. All right, Fletch, let me get this out of the way before I forget. Thanks for your time. Oh, absolutely. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you very much for that, Rob. Appreciate it. And then these are 7 days ago. That's way too far back. Okay. Rob's got another question. Local sniper site for lead gen question. Is there any real need to have more than one page target the same base keywords? Oh, okay. So you're asking whether or not you want to have maybe more than one page trying to rank for certain keywords. No, that's not necessary, Rob. One keyword per page, or wait, one page per keyword is sufficient. You can have the same page rank for multiple keywords, but you do not have to have multiple pages after actually going after the same keyword. Example, C+ plumber, is there a need to have more than one page about burst pipes? I'm having trouble with the planning and basic structure of these ultra targeted sites. So what I will say is if you are really trying to rank for that keyword, you may benefit from having a couple pages that are slightly varied going after burst pipes. You may have one that has burst copper pipes, burst steel pipes, burst polypropylene pipes, or PEX. Those would all help and potentially support. I don't think I've got my my screen share going right for some reason here. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on. I can get this done real quick. Start screen share. All right, hopefully that'll work. So that being said, aside from that, no, you do not need more than one page specifically targeting a keyword, but having a few supporting pages about the exact keyword is going to help you. So kind of depends on how you have your site set up and this and that. All right, Rob, for your bigger sites that you are using targeted multiple cities, that you use targeting multiple cities, how do you construct or structure the content and URLs to cover the same services and keywords in those same areas? I don't know if Mile High Plumbing did that. Would you create a new piece of content for each city for the same burst pipe example? The site that I created for Mile High Plumbing, Rob, is actually done only with vSilo, which scrapes YouTube videos. We'll go ahead and go over to that site real quick. I think I know what you're talking about, but I want to kind of help illustrate it for people who are wondering. So if we have Lakewood here, and the keyword would maybe be burst pipes Lakewood, we see here there's a YouTube video that looks like it was set up and kind of SEO'd for Lakewood, Washington. So what we're going to do is go back and see all the way back to the home so we can get to a different, like Aurora here, and burst pipes Aurora has a totally different video, but these videos are not unique. It's just that they're different videos on my site. As you can tell, they are just embedded videos that were scraped from YouTube that are based on the keyword here for this specific page. So I do not have specific pieces of content created for each of the pages. I'm just kind of relying on YouTube to serve those videos up. It's been kind of interesting. This site, this last week, I got 7 calls off this site. It actually is coming to my cell phone. I found that out after I started getting all these calls. I may either pull the cell phone number or just forward calls to somebody locally, and I don't know if I'll make money with it because it's an example site, but I'll at least get the people who need services, plumbing services in Denver, connected with a plumber who's local. Otherwise, I'm just answering the phone and trying to tell people what to do to fix their sink that's leaking. Yeah. So anyway, the pieces of content do not need to be unique, but across your site, I think it would be helpful if they are different from other pages on your site. So if you can just embed a different video, even if it's from a competitor, I think that would be beneficial for you. Okay. I think we had, okay, that was Rob's last question. Steven's on, awesome. That was my post about getting going. This. All right, Alvin's still on, cool. All right, Pete, if we have multiple My City sites and you are offering SEO services in each area, do you list a different SEO company for each? I don't think that's necessary. You can if you want to, if you need to, you know, break out a different brand depending on where you're focusing, or if you want to rent it to a different company, that's certainly possible. And, you know, it might be beneficial for some reasons. But if it's actually your company that you're promoting, I think it would probably be just fine to maintain the exact same business name and brand across each of those different sites. As you may or may not have seen with like Cotton's sites, you know, he's got cottongrammar.com, is also Resilient Solutions is another site that he uses for his SEO brand. Those rank in multiple cities. And because of that, there's a lot of examples of it. That's an easy one with SEO services, single site or single brand ranking in multiple cities. If you've created an EMD that was specific to, say, Houston, Texas, and you wanted to rank in Seattle, Washington, it may behoove you to go ahead and set up a totally separate site, but keep your same brand. So unless you have branded yourself the EMD name, like Houston SEO Services, if that's your company name, you know, that would be the only thing that might hold you back, or potentially, you know, let you or create a situation where you might want to create a different brand that you could operate in different cities and not look like you're based somewhere else. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, Alvin here. Help me understand why I would build a city SEO site that shows no searches. How can this be a good money-making site? So just because it shows no searches, Alvin, does not necessarily mean it gets no searches. The keyword planner tool that we base a lot of our research on it's not accurate. It's really the best place to start, but it is not the be-all, end-all of whether or not there is search volume for those keywords. And even in the situation where, you know, it is fairly accurate on that exact term, there are going to be a lot of longer tail variations or slightly varied results that get searched quite a bit that Google's not going to report on. And the reason Google does not report on those, that Google Keyword Planner tool is set up specifically to cater to people who are going to do pay-per-click. And so what those results are is really a way for Google to report the keywords people are bidding on and how much search traffic that exact term gets. So as you may or may not know, there are a lot of searches on the internet that are very convoluted or long tail or misspelled or all sorts of different things. Those are not going to get reported in the Google Keyword Planner tool at all. And even if they, so even if you were going to go after, like, my spinal decompression site is supposed to look at that just one specific term, spinal decompression Phoenix, right? The Google Keyword Planner tool told me that search phrase would get about 73 searches per month. Now, my results have been, and this is taking into account the traffic that I get from OMG because it is an example site. These are people who actually search for it that are IPs that are based in Phoenix. That site gets somewhere around 300 people per month on it. So that would probably be more indicative of about 600 searches per month that specific site is in front of. So the reason we say that you use the keyword planner tool is it helps a lot of people who are getting started know, is it reasonable to go after this keyword? But even after that's said, it is not the be-all end-all authority. The be-all end-all authority is building a site, getting it ranked, getting traffic, getting sales. And there currently is not a better place to go and get those numbers than that keyword planner tool. So we still use it, but we just understand it for what it is. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. All right, Steve and Fletch, is a limit, or is there a limit to how many pages you can create with WordPress using the vSilo plugin? I ask because I have a lead gen site I am throwing together with 11 parent silos, 32 keywords per silo. That's somewhere around 300 pages. You're totally fine on that. I'm getting ready to kind of push the bounds on that a little bit, Stephen, and crank it up to a whole nother, I can't even think of the term right now. My brain's still muddled with this cold, but up around 10,000 pages. I don't think that'll even be a problem. So you should be fine with what you're targeting there. 11 times 32, yeah, you're going to be at 350 pages, give or take. Totally doable. I have sites that are bigger than that using vSilo, so you should be fine. All right, pages under the 11, and I get a gateway 504 error and have to uninstall and reinstall WordPress because of the silos are incorrect with some of the keywords duplicated. I hope that makes sense. It kind of does, Stephen. I've never encountered that error. It's possible it would be related to your server, but I'm not 100% sure. Can you, if you're creating that site, can you do it in steps? Meaning create one silo, get that done, get it created, and then create another silo, so you're not creating them all at the exact same time. So that may be a solution for you. Might be a little more tedious than just uploading once, but that might be a way around it. When I created that Mile High plumbing site, I think it's got somewhere in excess of 200, maybe 300 pages on it. And I think I did that the way I just described, meaning I would create the Aurora subpages and get that all done and live, and then I would move over to Arvada and I would create the subpages then, instead of just creating all of those subpages at the exact same time. That may be an option for you, and maybe what's holding you up. I'm not familiar with that 504 error though and what it means. Let me actually just look into it. Yeah, it's a timeout. So that might be something that has to do with your machine communicating with that server and that database. Yeah, you may have to do it kind of stepwise to create a site that you want to create. Like I said, I've not really encountered it, but cause a 504 error. The website and get a 504. What does that cause? What causes it? Status code that means that one server did not receive a timely response from another server that is accessing while. Yeah. So that might not be necessarily related to the plugin, Stephen. It might be your host, that server, or even one of the routers between you and your data bank that's serving up that information. Beyond that, though, the Network Empire support desk is usually pretty good at getting responses to you. So I would reach out to them and issue a support ticket and see what they have to say, while at the same time maybe trying to rebuild that site stepwise on each of those silos and see how that works out for you. All right, Kara. Hey, Fletch, thanks for sharing your time with us tonight. Where's the email most important? Where's the email address most important as far as footprints go? Registering a domain, hosting domains, or setting up WordPress? They all are going to be, Kara. I'm just thinking through them and seeing where they're going to show up. Yeah, they're all important. You want to maintain totally distinct entities on each of these sites, so you really want to set them up completely independently, meaning that the email address you have for like your hosting and stuff like that is separate from the ones that you have for other sites. But that being said, I've got a lot of sites that have the same email address on them, even in all of these locations. I've not had a problem, but I'm not trying to say that's the best practice. It kind of comes down to what Google is going to look at as spam and what your competition may dig around and find for your different sites and try to do some kind of negative SEO or attack you in some way. So it's worthwhile to go ahead and get a distinct email address in each of those 3 locations as you are acquiring sites, hosting sites, and setting WordPress up on sites. You can still create like a forwarding email for, like a catch-all. So if you set up an email address specifically for these types of things and want that that email to just forward information along to a catch-all email for you, so you don't have to look in one place to get the information that you may get there, that's totally fine. But I would set up a new email for each of those locations. And they can be the one that you set up to register a site, host it, and then set WordPress up. That can be the same for one site. But for different sites, I would have a different email address. Oh. Okay, Stephen, or 2 a day. Oh yeah, you could just spread it out over the days too. But once you get the site populated, like once that page is created by vSilo, you should be able to go right back in after that and create a couple more pages or a couple more silos or whatever it might be. It shouldn't be based on your day unless you've got a really tight bandwidth issue on your site. And that's, again, what I was talking about, server issues. If you've got bandwidth issues there and your hosting server is not allowing you to interact with it in larger volumes, you should really address that now, because it's going to create problems for you as far as ranking, and definitely on when the site gets live and ranked, how people interact with it. So you might want to dig into that a little bit more, Stephen, and see if the issue is related to your server. All right, Alvin. Okay, I have 8 Legion sites that seem to be stuck on the top 20 to 60 rank, and I have PBN sent to them all. How can I get them to move? I also have sent social, but have not sent links to it, or Magic Submitter. I fell. If I do, they should rank. I would not use Magic Submitter, Alvin, because those links are typically placed on pages or URLs that have a lot of other links going other places and are typically looked at as kind of spam. What I would do is move to social platforms and create Facebook fan pages, Twitter accounts, Google Plus pages, YouTube channels, Pinterest accounts, things of that nature that are set up and branded similar to what these Legion sites are called. So if you had, spinal decompression phoenix.org, you would set up a Pinterest account for spinal decompression in Phoenix, have that point to your website, and then use those kind of either no follow or do follow links to supplement your backlink profile. I do that on most all my sites. I've talked about it a couple times in my office hours and in a few of my trainings. I really like to have kind of those social directory sites set up to support and start the linking profile to any sites that I want to rank. That's what I would move to first. It's going to break up your anchor text. It's going to break up your IPs. And it's also most likely going to move you up in the rankings. So you can go on Fiverr and have somebody set them up there, or you can just go through and create them yourself, depending on kind of your budget and your time frame. You can usually get that done for 20, 25 bucks for one site and get 30 to 50 different social directories set up to point back to your site. Like SendWire and OnlyWire are both 2 software programs that require those platforms set up. So you can go and do a search on Fiverr for somebody to set up like an OnlyWire account, and they can create that for you. I'll walk through that real quick here just in case I was talking too fast. So we're just going to go over here to Fiverr real quick and then do like OnlyWire accounts. And then something in here for $5. So I will only wire accounts creation free version for $5. I'd find somebody that's good here. I don't have necessarily somebody I would recommend. So this person will set up about 30 of these social directory accounts for you for $5. And they'll most of the time they'll send you the login information and email address so you can access them later on, and then you can just use those for backlinks to your money sites. And like I said, I do this on most of the sites I set up now. Follow up, can I use Magic Submitter to a PBN to increase PBN DA? PA also trust. I don't see anyone doing it. Yeah, it's not a great idea. You can use it on higher DA sites, but unless your PBN really has a DA of over 70, which I don't know many people that have those, it's not a good idea. It just doesn't buffer those spam links as well. So I would use those something like Magic Submitter. Unless you've got a really, really tight and command of Magic Submitter, I would not point those to a money site or to a PBN directly. Your concept of boosting domain authority is accurate. Like, that's something we really want to do. I would just not use Magic Submitter to do that on our PBNs. All right, I have 70 PBNs, so that should be well enough, right? Yeah. Yeah, I assume you mean 70 PBN sites. Yeah, that's big enough to, I mean, I've only got like 120, and not only or whatever, but if you've got 70 PBN sites set up that are not, there's no issues with them, you know, they've got good trust and they've got, they're indexed and everything, you should be able to rank kind of for pretty much whatever you want to on those. All right, Kara, so to get unique email addresses, do you buy them? If so, where? So using my name at Gmail isn't a good idea. Yeah, I would use a unique email address, and yeah, you can get those on Fiverr too. You can get like, let's see here. You can just do a search for Gmail accounts. 10 Gmail accounts right here for $5. So that should be enough for 10-year sites. All accounts new and fresh, verified. Looks like they've got yeah, level 1 seller, good rating, all that stuff, really good. So something like that I would use for Gmail accounts if you need to set those up. You can use Hotmail as well. With Hotmail, you can usually get like 200 or 250 accounts for $5. So it just depends on what email platform you want to use for those. They're all pretty usable. Gmail sometimes is nice because once they're set up and verified, they tend to stick around a little better. Hotmail, sometimes because it's so easy to set them up, sometimes they get spammed a little bit more. All right, that was Kara's question. Cool, got caught up here. Okay, question here from Alvin. So for Legion site, I already have social set up. So what I will do is hit each social site with Magic Submitter. Okay, yeah, that's a better idea, Alvin. And then the link juice passes through social to the money site, which boosts ranking. Yes, yeah, good plan. That's much more in line with kind of the way we use those link building tools safely. You can use it in addition to or in conjunction with, you know, what Jimmy does with domain authority stacking, which is a related but a specific way to use those social profile sites. But even using them like what you've described here, you'll get quite a bit of benefit from that, Alvin. Okay, Alvin, I'm just starting my 2 city SEO sites, and I will hit them with the social first and then start PBN linking, because social will give it more I think probably branding and backbone, right? Yeah. Yeah, I really like to do that first. When I have a site set up, I'll go through and really create those kind of hallmark or really standard platform social directory sites first, like Facebook and Twitter, and maybe Pinterest or Instagram, or a Google YouTube channel, or Google Plus profile, or a Google My Business page if it's a client site. Those are things I think that most legitimate websites and brands and or companies would do. And so I start there, and I put some a little content on there, point some links around to each other, make sure they get indexed. And then after that, I use my PBNs more as really the sniper type of links. Rarely do I do anything with anchor text out of those social profiles. I leave them pretty generic and pretty branded as far as the links go. And then if and when I do need some more oomph, I use my PBNs in that fashion. So I've already got several links coming to my sites before those PBN links come in. It's usually pretty cheap. If you have a ton of sites, it does cost some money, but if you're up there, you probably have some budget to work with as well. So yeah, you can set those up, get those going first, and then supplement that with your PBNs. And it sounds like you're definitely on track with how this works, but you can actually then even use some of those social profiles to supplement your PBNs. You were talking about boosting the domain authority and page authority of your PBN network. You can set those those OnlyWire accounts up for a PBN site, and then use backlinks from those profiles to give some oomph to the posts that you're making on your PBN as well, which is going to continue to give you more power over time. Going to further legitimize those links as a real piece of content that somebody pays attention to enough to do some extra work for. And I do that quite a bit, and I've been happy with the results. So if you're looking to supplement the power and create some fresh activity on your PBNs, that's the way I would do it. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, Kara, is there a favicon plugin that you use? Also, what's the plugin which allows pics in the SERPs? I do not know what the plugin for pics in the SERPs is. Network Empire's kind of teased about that recently. I'm not sure how they're doing it, whether it's an actual thumbnail for a picture or video or what that is. I'm not sure. Favicon plugins for your actual site, though. I do not use one because there's an actual area in Genesis Dynamic that lets you just upload it there, so I don't have to use an actual plugin to do that. But I'm sure that there's something you could just do a search for it. Favicon plugin, WordPress. Yeah, I'm not sure if this all-in-one favicon is the same maker as all-in-one SEO. I don't have any things set up for screenshots. I usually kind of try to pick plugins where the person who made the plugin has gone to the trouble of actually filling out a full profile here once they have the plugin uploaded. Doesn't look like this person has this either. Not to say that doesn't make it a good plugin, but typically if somebody takes the time to go through and do all that, they've got a plugin that works pretty well. But a favicon, I mean, it's a pretty simple little piece of code, so probably doesn't need to be something over the top as far as code and stuff goes. All right. Alvin, do you have any city SEO site? And if so, how are they working for you? I'm doing something a little different than that, Alvin. My search brand is called Search Explosion. It's something I really waited quite a while on launching because I wanted to consolidate kind of my SEO knowledge and what I'd done and figure out who I wanted to be to the market and to which market. So I have put off really launching a city SEO or a SEO services website for over a year. I really just pushed the site live within this last month. Have not done anything to it yet other than just build a landing page. So beyond that, I really don't have any information to give you. Most of my clients and everything up to this point have been referral based. I have not marketed myself heavily. And it was just kind of my strategy, and the reasons I chose to do that were unique to me with what I do in lead gen, and then also kind of my position as kind of teacher and trainer within OMG. I really wanted to focus on and make sure that I was as good at that as I could be before I took on other things. And so that's why I kind of put it off. All right, Alvin, with my social and my city SEO, I have 70 social profile. Each will hit them with Magic Submitter. It's going to be a boom because all social sites will link together. Yeah, absolutely. It'll create really a big effect for you because that is a network. It's a much larger network than you would have if you were only using PBNs. And so, yeah, use some different campaigns within Magic Submitter to hit those different kind of nodes that you have in your network. And yeah, it should push around some serious page authority, which will then trickle down and eventually land up on your money site, depending on how you have those linked together and how you're using those. Right now, Alvin, I will be posting on these social sites a few times a week. So should I only send my link back to the home page? And can I target other pages on the site as well? Oh yeah, absolutely. You can target inner pages with those links from your social profiles when they're appropriate. If you've got a great piece of content on an inner page, absolutely, it doesn't hurt at all to throw a link to an inner page there. All right, Rob, should we be doing citations for our lead gen sites? If so, how do we handle not having a physical address in the area we're trying to establish ourselves in? I've not, up to this point, Rob, I haven't had any trouble with not having an address. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been beneficial to have one and to have that citation really getting out there and getting mentions and Google finding it, but you can do this without doing that. I know there's some people that teach lead gen that really hammer on that and say this is the way to do it. I don't have experience with it. And for me, I really stay out of the way of spam. I try not to pretend I'm something other than I'm not to Google. I think at best it's a short-term strategy. But at the same time, if you want to go for it, just distance yourself from it to a degree. Don't let it be something that can track back to you and get you into any kind of weird hot water with Google and or a local business or something like that. But you can generate a lot of leads with regular websites and not make use of or take advantage of the 7-pack or citations. It's what I've done. So, all right, OMG Juggernaut, do you use the same social accounts to send links to your PBN that you would use for your money site and PBN and sending? No, definitely not. What you want to make sure you do is to maintain definitely discrete or totally separate identities and networks that support your PBN as opposed to support your money sites. So if you've got a social directory set up for a PBN, do not link it in any fashion to a money site. Use different social platforms to do that. If you did, it would start creating kind of some duplicate paths of links that in some fashion would create a footprint that Google may find and flag you as a potential network that is spammy. So I would just avoid that, especially since it only costs another $5 to create a whole bunch of accounts. It's definitely not worth it. All right, Alvin, I'm really getting into clients. So tell us what are your most important part about landing clients? For me, really is about, there's two things I come at it from. One is the transformational story that I can relay and tell to a business owner about what search can do for a business. I have not only the story that I experienced with my construction business, which is why I got into OMG in the first place. I was trying to get more customers into that. But even since then, I've taken on a couple clients, one of which went from 80,000 a month to 800,000 a month. And I base almost all of my marketing and conversation on storytelling. So that's me though. If you know, are asking me what I do to differentiate myself from everyone else, it's tell stories, and it's explain things through stories. That's the basis and the hallmark of my marketing. As probably most of you guys know, within OMG, I am a story within OMG, and because of that, it's helped me become known. It's helped people get to know me and trust me, and allow me to give information that people actually follow because they know where I'm coming from. So, as far as just a kind of a hallmark of conversion and or marketing that I think a lot of people could make better use of, it's that story and working that into your brand and who you are and what you can deliver for people. So hopefully that makes some sense to some folks. I know it's a little off base with what we normally talk about, but it really does make a big difference. All right, Alvin, how did you find your clients? Most of them to this point have solicited me. They found me through referrals. So I kind of started out with a trickle of clients. I went and landed a few on Elance back before it merged with whatever it's merged with now. And then I've sold leads to local contractors, and serving a few clients very well has turned into having more clients that are willing to pay me. And a couple of those clients have grown significantly. One of them has branched out from being just based in the Phoenix metro area to now being in Tucson, Vegas, and Southern California. So, they pay me about, I don't know, 6 times more now than they used to. And so in that way, I've grown very organically. Again, that was one of the things I really wanted to get figured out as far as fulfillment, taking care of my clients, and really what it meant to them before I started marketing myself in kind of the search engines through SEO and things like that. So my clients have come through referrals, have not been, I won't even try to pretend that I had it set up in such a way where it made, my clients, it gave them any incentive. I did not incentivize them to send me new clients. Definitely could have done more with it. And I'm not saying the way I did it was right, but the way I've gotten my clients to date is through referrals. All right, Alvin, thanks for your answers. Helps much. Oh, great. Glad to hear it. Yeah, hopefully sometimes I get to talk and I'm not really sure it's connecting with the people that are asking the question. So if at any time, I ramble on and I didn't really hit on what the actual root of the problem or the hang up, the question was, just ask it again, or just say, hey, could you talk more about it or whatever. So yeah, that's totally cool. Certainly not an issue with the question, more so with me being able to answer it properly. So hopefully that sounds like that worked out pretty well for you. So thanks. All right, question or comment from Kara here. I'm helping a friend generate more clients, and she's in the MLM coaching business. How would you go about helping her? Boy, that's an industry I really don't have much experience with. But you know, at its root, it becomes kind of a business development and making money venture. So you can definitely use SEO for things like that. But what I would do is to really figure out a way to tie into the places where people are looking for that kind of information. In all likelihood, there's some good forums that you could work on as far as marketing goes. You could definitely take advantage of and utilize LinkedIn and build out a really compelling and useful LinkedIn profile and connect with enough people and use that platform for marketing. I'm learning more and more about LinkedIn as far as business development, making connections, and really connecting with the right people. Even with it getting hit as hard as it has recently with marketers, I think it's still solid, and I think it's still the best place to find industry professionals. And so if you could build a site or a profile, on LinkedIn that really ties into kind of some of the core problems. Another thing that a lot of people don't take the time to do is to figure out their market, and they say, well, this is who I am, and I'm just going to, really put it out there without giving a lot of thought to the people that they want to connect to. And I think you can make that work, but I think it's doing you a disservice if you don't stop to think about a little more of the market you want to serve. And so the reason I say that is that it sounds like you're actually coming at this the right way, which is, okay, what's the right way to market to people who are interested in that? So I kind of preface my answer with, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but the process I typically follow is to really figure out, who you are, who your, client or your friend is here, and what they are able to provide that's different than other people in their industry. And so what that's going to be is the things that make them different, the things that set them apart. And those are really going to be then the core kind of tenets or services or positioning that you want to include in your marketing. So whether you choose to rank a website for make money in MLM, or the specific service or product that they're promoting, or make use of one of these other social directory sites like LinkedIn, you're still going to want to have great content. And the way to develop great content is to spend a little time on that actual, figuring out good marketing. So depending on your experience with it, you may have your own method or, process for developing that. The one I had that I put together, I don't know if you guys have seen, whether you're subscribed to me on YouTube or not. My channel is kind of a hodgepodge, but it's pretty much, it's where most of the stuff related to online marketing is, this channel in particular. So I've got, where do I go here? My videos. There's a whole bunch of videos here a long time ago that were created, I'm trying to think, through like August through about October of 2013 that are, man, we're gonna have to keep going back because it's loading up all my office hours. So I had an opportunity to do some coaching that are not, they don't have to be password protected. So they're these Lucky 7 videos here. And a lot of this is walking through kind of the process of developing good marketing for your product. And, they're not short, each of them are sometimes an hour or two, but kind of the core elements of them are usually at the beginning of these videos. So, you know, if you like what I do or the way I teach or whatever, you can go back and check these out. You know, some of these, your positioning and your persona. I'm trying to read some of the highlights on these thumbnails. Yeah, FCC pictures, safety of numbers, marketing, coaching, and conversion, you know, all that kind of thing. So you can check those out if you want. Otherwise, there's a bunch of places you can find really good, solid information on figuring out who you are and what you're going to portray to your market. Okay, Kathleen Keene, am I the only one seeing a box in a box in a box on Fletch's screen? Feels like the 80s. All right, so yeah, Kathleen was talking about the picture-in-picture. Yeah, every time I turn on the actual camera, it'll do that. So when I'm sharing this, it will continue to resolve down into infinity. The reason I do this and share this specific page is that we can get an actual video recording of that chat box. So just, you know, it's just the way it works. When I'm not on this page, it doesn't happen. But of course, when I am, which is most of the time, that's what you're gonna get. All right, Alvin A. Fletch, not to take over your role, but Kara should check out vid 4 and 5, new breakthrough stacking series. It gives a bunch more insight in helping her with that. Awesome. Yeah, I super highly recommend that breakthrough stacking series. So great addition there, Alvin. That is found in your either Project X or Project Juggernaut membership area. I think I've got it open here. This is a different one. Yeah, so this is Project J. The all the way down here on the right, you'll find the breakthrough stacking series here. So there's 5 videos in this. Incredible. I'm on my probably 3rd or 4th at least watching of them all, and certainly not wasting time. I like them, and I think they continue to provide value each time I watch them through. So, all right, Kathleen, for web design biz, do you recommend adding a portfolio with links to client sites? Why not? I keep hearing marketers not wanting to share links to their sites, and I don't understand why. You know, there may be a lot of reasons why. One that would come to mind is that a lot of people take negative tactics to win. And if you are providing live links to clients' sites as examples on the nameless, faceless internet, someone that is a competitor of yours may potentially just go grab those sites and either hack them or negative SEO them or something of that nature. I have a feeling, as much as anything, that's probably why someone would say that, and what they would you know, be afraid might happen if they provided links to example sites like that. We've experienced that within OMG, you know, with what Greg experienced with KLKS. I've experienced it a couple times on a couple of my sites. It just happens, you know. There's people out there that are just not. That's the way they choose to go about, you know, either winning or just expressing themselves. You know, it's like graffiti sometimes. Just, you know, hackers not necessarily going to win, but you know, they still, you know, get the same feeling or emotional response from, you know, hacking or succeeding in something they're trying to do, even though it may tear down or undermine somebody else's ability to deliver value. So a lot of times that's why people in the online business don't provide live links to client sites. All right, Kara, awesome. Thanks. Cool. Thanks, Alvin. Yeah, right on. Alvin's got a great suggestion here for Kara, but just for anybody, I totally agree. Um, I'm very big proponent on taking notes and actually handwriting notes. Other people may be different, but I grew up in a time when we didn't have computers or typing, so I'm very much, tuned into writing something. And those different kind of modes or modalities for processing information, hearing it's one, saying it is another, writing it is a third, reading it is still a different one. So the more of those you can incorporate into your note-taking and or learning processes, very often the better you will comprehend and assimilate and make connections for it. So yeah, great suggestion there from Alvin about just note taking as you're listening to some of those law of implication videos specifically, because it is very often an abstract concept that we have to bring into life in some fashion to understand it. So definitely a great suggestion there. All right, Kathleen, as a nurse, I want to remind everyone to clean their keyboard and mouse during cold and flu season for Fletch. Let's go. Yeah, it's been like a month almost. It's crazy. Ever since the new baby got here, I've just haven't been able to get over it. So I finally broke down, and I've got some antibiotics that the doctor prescribed. Hopefully that gets me over the hump a little bit, but at some point in time, it just happens. I think I haven't been sick in a decade, so I guess it catches up with you every once in a while. Greg's been pretty down in the dumps as well with some kind of junk that he got. All right, Kara, with an EMD, should you avoid using the EMD words in your content at all? No, not necessarily a problem. When you do use the EMD words, though, in that specific order, do that seldom, just because it's going to look kind of unnatural if you've got the longer the keyword phrase is, the worse this is as well. So if it's like 3 words, it's like right on the edge of like too much. If you've got a 4 keyword phrase, you really probably only want to use it maybe one time on the page, because it gets out of hand, and it's something that some people call like statistically improbable to have the exact same combination of 4 words appearing in a natural conversational article more than once or twice or even at all. So depending on how many keywords you have strung together, you definitely want to be a little shy of that, but you don't have to totally avoid it. Especially if you're using a non-linked version of what the URL is. So if you wrote milehighplumbing.net and had that not be a link, it's more like a citation. In that situation, that's not a problem at all. You don't want to go overboard on it, of course, but you're going to have some differences in how that content appears and what it's marked up as, whether it's a link, whether it's an H1 tag or a title tag. Those all carry different weights for Google to look at as far as SEO goes. And usually the more influence that type of content has, the more you want to be aware of overusing it. So like a title tag definitely is something that influences SEO quite a bit. You really want to be aware of your use of keywords in those titles, and URL specifically as well, H1 tags. Beyond that, just regular content, you have a little more flexibility because it's just not as important, so you can use it a little bit more. All right, and then Kara's, yeah, in agreement on the modalities and all that kind of stuff, and Alvin is too. Yeah, so that's great. Good. Cool. Alvin, can we link with PBNs every day after all the social is done linking to your site? Yeah, you want to kind of think about, that something that some people are aware of and they talk about is link velocity. So the reason Greg has been a big proponent of building links slowly is so that Google does not see a whole bunch of links all at once and then no links at all for a long time. And so Greg is like, well, if I can get away with only building 5 links or 6 links to the site, I spread that over 4 months. I don't have to build any more links. Awesome, we win. Google's algorithm will continue to evolve, though. And so what I would do is just be aware of that. So if you're using PBN links every day, after you've got kind of, you may have 50 or 60 links pointing to your site already, and you start using PBN links every day, you probably want to send something, you know, like Network Empire Social Explosion, or some kind of syndication or RSS syndication that's going to continue to build links over time, even if they're slow, just to make sure that you don't have a really rapid bunch of links that get found and then nothing for a long time. But yeah, building those front-end social directory links I've found are a good way to buffer and provide you a foundation that you can link a little more rapidly after they're in place from PBN sites, because you know, it's just the PBNs are not the only thing linking to it anymore. You know, once those links are indexed, you're in you know, you're in a situation where your PBN link may be one of 50 links pointing to your site, as opposed to the only link pointing to your site. It's just a different you know, proportion, and therefore it's going to have a different influence on the SERP, and whether or not Google looks at that as some kind of weird spam or something out of the ordinary. As an outlier, you're going to wind up with kind of statistical attention, and you know, we kind of tend to want to be on the good side, but not all the way out totally by ourselves on how statistically different we are from every other site out there on the internet. All right, looks like Alvin's got a little bit of information here. Hey, this may help some people. I build my own website, so at the bottom of my City SEO site, I have powered and designed by Alvin Portis, and then I hypertext that link back to my LinkedIn profile. This will help my name ranking for web design in the area I'm ranking for. Yeah, I like that. A lot of people will link that back to their money site or their web design site, which is not, you know, that's, you can potentially get into some situations there where they may be low quality links, footer links, things like that that are not great. But linking it back to a LinkedIn profile, absolutely cool. So it's going to be a great link that is not contextual, but from a relevant page that is going to power that ranking. That's a great strategy. I really like that. Thanks for sharing that, Alvin. It's cool. All right, Pete, if you have a seasonal business you are promoting, would it be more natural for a lot of linking and content during the season and far fewer or none during the off season? Yeah, potentially, Pete. You know, if you're working with a ski resort or a hunting and fishing outfit, or you know, something of that nature, those are two seasonal things that I work in both. It's reasonable to think that you would probably have some seasonal variation there. But as far as whether Google looks at that, I don't know. You know, it's just something that I'm kind of aware of. A lot of times with big ticket booking on seasonal stuff, you're going to have people searching, you know, months in advance for it. So I think it's probably still wise to have, you know, kind of a steady, regular trickle, even if there are, you know, bigger seasons for your link velocity and or content. You know, Google's not going to say, well, they didn't have 5 articles this month, you know, in the middle of July, and it's a ski resort, so we're going to downgrade their ranking. I don't think it works that way. But, you know, just continuing to pay constant attention to your sites, to your content, and really to the ways you're promoting that content with links and or, you know, press releases, or, you know, syndication of articles to other places, or videos that you put out to promote for the upcoming season. I think that's wise. Just helps, you know, over time build up your domain authority, if nothing else. All right, Kara, will Social Explosion pull content off different pages or just posts? Currently posts, Kara. I'm not sure what they've got a new version that they hinted at in a few different ways at Nashville, at Live, that may do some different things. But currently the version they have is only promoting posts, or the post structure. So it's something that's going to fall below the category subpage within posts. All right, right on, Pete. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thanks for being on tonight. Alvin, also there are other sites like ESPN, etc. in your niche that has super super IDA and PA that allow you to start blogs on their sites. Be good to use those for linking too as well. I was looking at a guy's backlinks, and I see how he ranked. Yeah, there's all sorts of cool little profile sites like that. ESPN was not one I was aware of, but I've got a couple. Like I do a lot with energy efficiency, as probably a lot of you guys know. Previous to getting into this, I was a construction worker, but also something called a building scientist. And there are, you know, I've got a blog on a .gov site that I have full control of the HTML on, and it lets me do some things to promote in that niche that you know, are on a DA 80 plus domain, and are very, you know, relevant thematically, and from a .gov. So yeah, poke around. Like what Alvin says here, he's done some research and he's looked at other people's sites that are in niches that are ranking successfully, and he kind of reverse engineered and found some of those places where links can be posted. Greg does the same thing. You know, that's a lot of the time what he does to go out and see what's working or what changes may be you know, in place that he hasn't recognized, just because he's so much better off in most ways in his niches. There are some, you know, some things he needs to kind of dig into in other people's niches to see what is working. Alvin's talking about one of those strategies, and I think it's a great one. So yeah, just you know, become an SEO, which means figure out what ranks, and to do so, you can either build all your sites and track it all, or go look at what's already ranking and kind of reverse engineer it. So once you kind of get to the place where you've learned from the videos, you understand where you are and what kind of best practices are, you can still continue to evolve your knowledge and see, you know, what other people are doing to take advantage of what you understand as the mental model or the paradigm that is letting you rank sites. So, you know, we look at trust flow, we look at domain authority, we look at contextual links. Go out and see what other people are doing to create those situations. That's a great, absolutely great piece of information or suggestion there. So awesome. All right, Kara, thanks much. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Feel better and clean your keyboard. I'll do it. I'll get some Lysol or some kind of thing out and hose everything down, Kara. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you as well. I got a great great little comment here from Alvin. Fletch be on the lookout on the next big thing. But yeah, get well, bro. Really happy to talk to you, and would love to get to hear, love to be here and be safe to all. Absolutely, man. Glad you're on tonight. Definitely added some great content, not only through your questions, but through your comments. So I really appreciate that. Definitely helped me out with just kind of, you know, keeping the energy up and everything else, but also some of our people as well. Those suggestions were definitely things people should pay attention to and probably make use of. So cool, guys. Sounds like a lot of us here that are active are kind of winding down and phasing out. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and pop those in the chat box. If we have kind of a lull here and people are checking out, we'll go ahead and wrap it up a few minutes early and let people kind of get to whatever they're doing to prepare for the holiday. And yeah, we'll catch you all again next week, I'm sure, if not beforehand in Facebook. I know the new content for Director's Cut got released and opened up today. So yeah, we have a few less people than we typically do on our session, and I would imagine that's why some people jumping in and consuming some of that new stuff. So you're right on, Kathleen. Merry Christmas to you as well. And thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, guys, we're kind of at a lull here, it sounds like. So Alvin say, make sure I let Michael Long know that that you were on. I'll definitely do that, Alvin. Anyway, beyond that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the broadcast tonight. If you guys have any questions to pop up, hit me up on Facebook if you can. Personal message is probably the best way to get my attention. I get so many emails every day that it's sometimes I miss some things there. So if anything comes up, don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, I hope everyone really enjoys their Christmas or holiday, whatever they may celebrate. And we'll definitely be in touch soon, moving into 2015. Hope everybody's in great shape. And yeah, God bless you all. Thanks for being on and for helping make my 2014 as great as it has been. So you guys take care. I'll catch you all again next week, probably Tuesday again, maybe a few hours earlier in the day. Beyond that, though, we'll talk to y'all soon. Take care, guys.